Hi and welcome back to English class. Today is Wednesday and today we will be starting with the prose. So if you have got a separate book by the name of Flamingo, तो उसका first lesson है the last lesson and we are going to study that, or otherwise it is the first lesson of your book under the prose section under Flamingo book, and the name of the lesson is The Last Lesson, which is written by Alphonse Daudet. Now, Alphonse Daudet was a French writer and a novelist, and he was a short storyteller. So, the last lesson जो chapter है इसका background है कि उस समय French या Franco-Prussian war was going on, and that is somewhere between the year 1870 and 1871. And in this particular war, France was defeated by Prussia under the leadership of Bismarck. So all those who have studied history in class 10 or in 11th, and especially the art student, they will be very familiar with the name of Bismarck and the Franco-Prussian War. And in this particular chapter, एक district है फ्रांस की जिसका नाम है Alsace-Lorraine. It's a name of a place. It's a small district in France. And the story takes place in a school where the teacher is teaching. And it is the last day when the language, French language, is being taught in that school because the Prussians have taken over. और अब वो French नहीं पढ़ेंगे, अब से वो German पढ़ेंगे. So it is the story very beautifully depicts the nationalism, the loyalty towards the country, the loyalty towards the language, the culture, which the teacher and the students have for France. And it's a time where war was taking place. So the background of the story is when the Franco-Prussian war was taking place. So the जो background है उसको समझने की कोशिश करिएगा कि कोई और देश फ्रांस के ऊपर कब्जा कर चुका है और अब से वहाँ पे फ्रेंच नहीं पढ़ाई जाएगी. तो जो टीचर्स हैं वहाँ पे, वो स्कूल का लास्ट दिन है जब वो फ्रेंच पढ़ा रहे हैं. And it depicts the feelings of the teachers, what the patriotic feelings the teacher has for France, and the feelings of the students also. So let us start with the chapter, The Last Lesson. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because Mr. Hamel and had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field, back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. Right? So, जो writer है, उसने first person में ये chapter लिखा है, and he himself is narrating the story, and he says that it was the last day of school, and he remembers that the teacher, Monsieur Hamel, was supposed to take a test on French participles, and his French language was very weak. He was not too good in that language. So he is worried and he is tempted to bunk school. और जब वो बाहर देखता है on the way to school, he sees lots of things that tempt him, like the birds chirping, like the weather, it was so warm and so bright, like the open fields where he could play all along the day. But he is also reminded that क्या वो अपने आप में सोचता है और वो सोचता है कि क्या स्कूल जाना ज़रूरी है या फिर घर में बैठ के या बाहर खेलना ज़रूरी है. एंड ही ओवरकम्स हिज टेम्पटेशन एंड ही डिसाइड्स टू गो टू स्कूल. उसको पता है कि जो टेस्ट वो देने वाला है या जो टीचर पूछने वाले हैं पार्टिसिपल्स के बारे में फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज में, he doesn't know head or tail about it. He doesn't know anything about it. He knows that he will get punishment or he will be scolded for it. But he decides that he will go to school and he will not bunk the school and he will not play outside. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer. And I thought to myself, without stopping, what can be the matter now? So when this boy is going to school, on the way he sees that एक बोर्ड लगा हुआ है, वहाँ पे काफ़ी भीड़ है. And he says that generally, because for the last 2 years there was war going on, so whatever notices or information that used to come from the commanding officer used to be put on that board. And now he's just wondering that there are so many people who are reading the board, that what news could it have today? What he's about to hear? What is the information that he will get? Then, as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher, who were there with his apprentice, reading the bulletin, called after me, "Don't go so fast, bub. You'll get to your school in plenty of time." I thought he was making fun of me and reached Monsignor Hamel's little garden, all out of breath. So this boy he's thinking that he's already late for school, and he was running and going. और जहाँ पे notice board लगा हुआ, जहाँ पे भीड़ थी, so there was a blacksmith over there. The watchman was over there, and there were other people also who were reading the bulletin or what the news had brought them. And when they see this little child, they tell him that there is no need for him to run and go, because the school is quite nearby and he will not get late if he goes slowly. And the boy thinks कि क्या वो मजाक कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उसको already late हो चुका है. And then he decides that उसको जल्दी से वो जाएगा और प्रोफेसर हैमिल से मिल लेगा, क्योंकि उसको डांट पिटने वाली है, and he doesn't want to be scolded for it. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But now it was so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be quiet. As Sunday morning, through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places, and Monsignor Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was, but nothing happened. Monsignor Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." So this boy reaches the class late, and he is worried that अगर वो late class में enter होगा तो उसको डांट पिटेगी. And he is generally जब वो स्कूल में enter करते हैं तो सबको पता चल जाता था कि वो स्कूल में आ गया, क्योंकि बच्चे लोग चिल्लाते हैं, कहीं लेसन्स लर्न हो रहे हैं, कहीं टेबल्स बोले जा रहे हैं, कहीं टीचर टेबल पे रूलर से खटखटा रहा है, कहीं टीचर से डांट पिट रही है. So some children are playing. So that's the general picture of a school. But all was very, very silent, very, very quiet. And he just wondered ki why it is like this. Why everybody is so quiet? Why there is no noise in the school today? So he quickly goes to the class and he notices that the teacher has already started the class. The children are ready with their books and the teacher is just standing there and just about to start the class. और he thinks कि जब वो class में enter करेगा, so he would enter the class unnoticed and the teacher will not take a note of it that he has come late. But it's not like that. It was Monsignor Hamill. So he says कि oh, you have come. That boy's name is Franz. And he says, Franz, you have come. We were just about to start without you, so please come and have a seat. और generally और दिनों पे मॉन्सिन्यर हैमिल अगर वो लेट आता तो मॉन्सिन्यर हैमिल उसको बहुत ज़ोर से चिल्लाते डांटते, पर आज ऐसा नहीं था. तो फ्रांस को भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा. ही इज़ नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई देयर इज़ अ very peculiar kind of silence in the class. Why everybody is so serious and why of all people Monsignor Hamill is not scolding him but instead is talking very politely and kindly to him. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Hauser with his three-cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. So when Franz heard Professor Hamill's voice, he jumped. पर अब उसको डर नहीं लग रहा था और वो चुपचाप से जाके अपनी जगह पे बैठ गया. He was not feeling afraid of the professor. But he found something very strange. He thought कि why there is a certain amount of silence, a strange silence in the school. Everything looked very solemn. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा शांत, peaceful, very holy, very a sort of silence which is not which is very intimidating, and you feel little nostalgic or you feel little overwhelmed with that silence. And he found it very strange. He also saw that Monsignor Hamill was dressed up in his coat and frilled shirt and silk hat, जो कि वो सिर्फ प्राइस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वाले दिन या फिर इंस्पेक्शन वाले दिन ही वो पर्टिकुलर सूट पहनते थे. तो फ्रांस को लगता है कि टुडे नीदर देयर इज इंस्पेक्शन नॉर देयर इज अ प्राइस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, so why the teacher is wearing such good clothes to school. And he also says that the one thing that surprised him the most was that जो back benches थे class के, जो generally खाली रहती थी, that nobody used to sit on those benches. So the villagers were sitting on those benches. The old Hauser was sitting there, the postmaster was sitting there, the former mayor was sitting there, and all educated people, all villagers were sitting there, and they were also attending the class. सो उसको वो चीज़ भी बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंज और पिक्यूलियर लगती है कि वाई द पीपल हैव कम टुडे, वाई द विलेजर्स हैव कम टुडे टू अटेंड द क्लास. एंड यही एक पर्टिकुलर चीज़ है जो एंड ही ऑल्सो नोटिस दैट everybody was looking very sad, like they were not very excited to attend the class. In fact, they were very sad to attend the class. And he also saw that one of the villagers had brought a very thick book, and he had opened it in front of him, and spectacles bhi uske upar the, and perhaps it must have been a French book which they were trying to read. And actually it is the last day that they were reading that book, or they were studying French as a language, as a subject, because the Prussians spoke German. And from now on, when the Prussians would take over, then French would be stopped. And all these people were great French patriots, and they are sad because from now on वहाँ पे प्रशियंस रूल करेंगे और वो लोग फ्रेंच की जगह जर्मन पढ़ेंगे. So I'll stop the chapter over here, and in the second part of the chapter we'll read further. I hope that you will understand. After you see this video, please make sure that you read the chapter till where I have explained it to you. So till then, take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye-bye.